Taiwan, just a small island floating 100 miles off China's coast, barely the size of Maryland, home to just 23 million people. And yet, it's the most dangerous flashpoint on Earth. If war ever erupts between the United States and China, it probably starts here. So why does Taiwan matter so much? To understand that, we need to rewind. In 1949, after years of brutal civil war, the Chinese Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong, took control of mainland China. The defeated nationalists fled, not to America, not to Europe, but to the island of Taiwan. There they set up a government, still calling themselves the Republic of China, and claimed to be the rightful rulers of all of China. Meanwhile, the Communist Party said the same thing, about themselves. Both sides considered themselves the real China, and neither side forgot. Fast forward to today, Taiwan has evolved into something entirely different. A vibrant democracy, a tech superpower, one of the wealthiest, most advanced societies in Asia. But to Beijing, none of that matters. To the Chinese government, Taiwan is still unfinished business, a renegade province that must be brought back under Chinese rule, preferably peacefully. But if not, then by force. And it's not just about politics, it's about pride, it's about history. It's about erasing the last visible reminder that the Chinese Civil War didn't end exactly the way the Communist Party says it did. Xi Jinping has made it crystal clear. Reunifying Taiwan isn't optional. It's part of China's national destiny. But there's a problem. Taiwan isn't defenseless. And it has powerful friends. Since the end of World War II, the United States has been Taiwan's quiet, often unofficial but incredibly important protector. Officially, America doesn't recognize Taiwan as a separate country, thanks to a complex diplomatic dance that started in the 1970s. But unofficially, America sells Taiwan billions of dollars in weapons, trains Taiwanese forces, and maintains a strategic ambiguity, a policy that basically says, we might defend Taiwan. We might not. You'll just have to guess. Why? Because for America, Taiwan isn't just about democracy and values, although that's part of it. It's about credibility. If the U.S. lets Taiwan fall, allies like Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines might wonder if America would defend them either. It could shatter the alliances that hold the Pacific together. But America's not their only friend. Japan, just a few hundred miles north, considers Taiwan's security vital to its own survival. Japanese leaders have even said that a Taiwan emergency is a Japan emergency. Australia has strengthened its military ties with the U.S. and Taiwan under new security pacts. And across Europe, countries like the United Kingdom and Germany have started sailing their warships through the South China Sea, quiet shows of support for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Taiwan's network of unofficial allies doesn't guarantee its safety, but it means that any conflict wouldn't just be a local fight, it could draw in powers from across the world. And beyond alliances, there's another, colder reason. Taiwan is a key piece on the chessboard. Control Taiwan and you control critical sea lanes in the Western Pacific. Lose Taiwan and the U.S. Navy loses its ability to maneuver freely in Asia. For China, taking Taiwan would open the Pacific. For the U.S., defending Taiwan keeps China boxed in. That's why Taiwan matters so much to both sides. But the stakes get even higher when you look at what Taiwan produces. Because Taiwan doesn't just control shipping lanes, it controls the future of technology. This tiny island produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors and an even bigger share of the most advanced microchips. And these aren't just chips for smartphones and laptops. They're in fighter jets, missile systems, artificial intelligence, nuclear submarines. At the heart of it all is TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the crown jewel of global tech. If Taiwan's chip industry were suddenly cut off, the ripple effects would be catastrophic. Cars would stop rolling off assembly lines, phones and computers would vanish from shelves, military programs around the world would stall overnight. In a way, Taiwan isn't just defending its democracy, it's holding up the modern world. Which is why, for China, reclaiming Taiwan isn't just a political goal, it's an economic and technological jackpot. And why, for America, losing Taiwan could be an unthinkable blow, militarily, economically, and strategically. But while the stakes keep rising, so do the risks. China has been increasing military pressure, launching record numbers of fighter jets into Taiwan's airspace, building new missile bases along its coast, conducting massive naval drills meant to simulate a blockade or invasion. At the same time, the United States has been strengthening its ties with Taiwan, sending senior officials for visits, selling more weapons, and running freedom of navigation patrols through the Taiwan Strait. Neither side says they want a war, but both sides are preparing for one anyway. And here's the danger. It might not take much. One misfired missile, one collision at sea, one political miscalculation. In a region packed with warships, submarines, and aircraft, a simple misunderstanding could spiral into something far bigger and far deadlier than anyone intended. Because Taiwan isn't just about Taiwan, it's about the entire balance of power in the 21st century. If China takes Taiwan by force and gets away with it, it would mark the first time since World War II that a major power rewrote borders through pure military conquest. It would send a message to Asia, to Europe, to the world, that American power isn't what it once was. And once that message is out, it's almost impossible to take back. That's why Taiwan matters. That's why the stakes are so high. Not just for China, not just for America, but for everyone. A tiny island smaller than many U.S. states, sitting at the crossroads of history. And depending on what happens next, it could decide the future of the world. Do you think a war over Taiwan is inevitable, or can diplomacy still pull the world back from the edge?